team. I'm Danielle Wiggins with Maureen Kyle, Austin Love, Dave Chudowski, and Jasmine Monroe. And we start with Jasmine because you are right now on breaking news on 77 South near Independence.
Yes. So I just actually want to flip the camera around just so you guys can see what I'm seeing. It's still an active scene right here on I-77 South. And what we do know are pretty much slim details, but we do know it was a traffic stop and shots were fired. We don't know who fired the first shots. Was it the suspects? Was it the police? We do know that they were both taken to the hospital, and no word yet on their injuries. So that's all the information we know so far this morning. If you are traveling southbound, headed to the Akron area, definitely take it slow right off of Rockside Road. I think that ramp is still closed. I don't see any cars coming up that ramp just yet. So if you are trying to get around, I would just hop on. Actually, I don't know how to hop on. I don't know where I am right now.
Well, what you do, yeah, I got you covered there, Jasmine. You instead, if you're coming from Rockside, you take 77 North. Then you can take 480 East, hop off at Transportation, get back on 480 West to 77 South. I tweeted that out at DANI WKYC, and this story is actually on WKYC.com as well. As Jasmine said, police. It's a shooting in the areas, a traffic stop. Police were involved in that. And as you said, Jasmine, the police and suspects were taken to the hospital. So she's there on the scene, 77 South. That ramp from Rockside Road to 77 South is shut down right now. So make sure you call your friends who take that and let them know so they know about the detour. And the impeachment story is really catching wind on WKYC.com. And Maureen, you're following that one for us.
Yeah, this is the historic day that we've been talking about all week. So the House is just within a matter of hours, the House will vote on an article of impeachment to impeach President Trump. So it's a single article of impeachment, and it stems from the Capitol riots that were last week. And it is specifically incitement of insurrection. So the House is majority Democratic, and then about 5 other lawmakers have said that are Republican, have said that they would vote for the impeachment. So when you do the math, I mean, we still have to see how this all shakes out. It would most likely pass the House at that point, and then it moves on to the Senate for a vote. And that's where you're going to get a little bit more division, and we'll have to see what happens there. So that is it's a big day, no matter how you feel about it, no matter what you think about it. This is a U.S. president being brought up for impeachment twice, and that's never happened before. So this is a historic day. We're going to have updates throughout the day on our website. You can check on our app, but this is something a lot of eyes will be on as we go throughout the morning.
And Dawn Broadway, thank you so much, Dawn, for joining us from Parma. And then, as we know too, Maureen, yesterday, they were saying that they wanted Vice President Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment. He said he's not doing that.
Yeah, and that wasn't a big surprise. Pence, Vice President Pence had never indicated that he was considering it. So the process, though, that the House wanted to take was to bring that up first, saying this is our first step. Asking Vice President Pence, will you just remove him from office? And they were expecting him to say no. And even as they were doing the debate, he sent that letter saying he will not invoke the 25th Amendment. So that was no big surprise. And it was, it's a process that they decided to take with this specific instance. That's not typical of impeachment. It's not typical. I mean, when I say typical, I mean, this really hasn't happened that often. Mm-hmm. So in this specific case, that's what they were expecting to do.
So a lot of news going on that we are continuing to keep you up to date on WKYC.com, as well as the social media channels. Jasmine was on the story where shooting involving a police officer, involving a traffic stop, and people taken to the hospital for that. We'll continue to update you on that. And again, we're on that impeachment of President Trump and see where that goes from here. But Austin Love is on a story that, should make you smile. Austin, you just left Kent. Tell us what's going on there.
I did, yeah. So this is not anywhere near what we've been talking about. So it's actually a nice little story here this morning. So as we all know, small businesses, restaurants, bars have been really taking on the chin throughout the pandemic with all of the restrictions that, of course, are in place and that need to be placed. But, it's not these small businesses' fault, but now it's really their problem of what they're dealing with. And I was just doing a story at Water Street Tavern in Kent, and they got a huge relief from Barstool Sports, which everyone knows as the sports commentary, the comedy known for funny videos, outlandish videos. And right now it's crazy. They're really the talk of the nation as in terms of small business support and small business relief. They started the Barstool Fund less than a month ago, around Christmas time. It's been probably 3 weeks, and in that time they have raised almost $23 million and have supported, they've taken 117 small businesses all throughout the country and have given them support in the best way that they possibly can. And Water Street Tavern is one of those businesses. And so the way that Water Street and all these other businesses, the other 116, have been able to get this support is they put in a video message saying what's going on. There's a few criteria as long as you didn't shut down at all or still paying employees, things like that. So Water Street did that, and they're now getting $20,000 a month until the pandemic is over. It's not just here's one lump sum of 20 grand or 10 grand. It's $20,000 a month. And talking to Mike Beater, he's the owner of Water Street. He says that just their rent alone and utilities is $20,000. So this is a way for them to really just kind of, bridge the gap and continue to keep their business open, keep employees employed, and a place where, Kent State kids can go, obviously social distance and at tables, but keeping these small businesses alive. It's incredible what Barstool has been able to do. I got $23 million in 3 weeks. It's crazy. So I know that Water Street Tavern was incredibly grateful to get that. So we're going to have that story for you on our website, wkyc.com. But cool stuff that's taking place there.
Yeah, and I'm a Kent State alum, so I definitely know about Water Street
Yeah,
and how iconic it is.
Yep.
Something else, we've talked a lot about small businesses, but specifically restaurants. Months ago, the owner of, I believe it was Fire that got shut down in Gordon Square, was telling the New York Times, kind of giving everybody some inside baseball on how they operate. And this kind of goes along with your story, Austin, is that the operating costs of a restaurant are so expensive. A lot of time, these chefs actually end up doing a lot of catering to actually make money because they don't have months and months worth of profits to sit on. They have food to buy, they have tables to fill, bills to pay. So they aren't, they're not working at a massive profit. They are in a situation like this. If they're shut down for months, that's make or break for a lot of them. So it's so cool to see, Barstool Sports recognizing that. And that's another reason why it's so important for us. If you do love a certain restaurant, that's why we've been talking about, you gotta order carry out and make sure that small business stays alive.
Yeah, margins are incredibly thin and also just incredibly hard to run a restaurant, let alone a small business, but then also a restaurant. And especially now it's 50% capacity. Typically, in order for these places to make money on a normal period, no pandemic, they need to be at about 90% capacity. I'm not a small business owner, but just from talking to different small restaurant owners, that's what you need. And it's, even before the pandemic, it was hard to be profitable running a small business. And now it's almost, they're not making money. They're trying to stay afloat and trying not to go under.
And remember, they have to go by that 10 p.m. curfew as well.
And that's another thing too, where Water Street, it's a college bar, in college, I didn't go out until 10. So that's what the reality that so many places are dealing with. So
I want to correct myself too. It wasn't Fire, it's Spice.
Okay.
Fire's on the east side. I know. Well, I don't want. Fire's on the east side. I don't want them to be Maureen Fire said we're shutting down. That's not it. No.
Everything that Austin delivers every day.
I love both of those.
Fire and Spice.
Yeah.
Little Fire and Spice. That's right. And everything nice, Dave.
As we close this, I want to let's say, Austin Love, you're not only lovely with the ladies, you're also lovely with the four-legged characters too. You got a surprise this morning on the show.
I did get a surprise on the show, and the producer gets in my ear this morning, like 5 minutes before my hit, and they're like, "Hey, like after you're done with your segment, we're gonna have you stay on, and Holly has a surprise for you." I'm like, they didn't give me any heads up, nothing, and I was completely just blinded. But yeah, it was a fun little surprise. I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Am I getting fired? Did I do anything stupid? Is there
Why would you
a
get
video of me?"
fired live on television?
I don't know.
If it was up to Dave, maybe, but not. Not Sarah, not Jen.
No, yeah. And I was I was running through all the list of things. I'm like, it's not an anniversary, it's not my birthday. But yeah, apparently I have a huge fan that's a dog. I forgot the dog's name. Sorry, but if they're listening,
Bilbo.
Wow.
Doggins.
Bilbo Doggins.
Bilbo Doggins. Woof, woof.
No one's ever gonna look at that.
So
And for the record, hold on, I would
go
not
ahead.
fire Austin live on TV. I would do it behind his back. All right.
Behind my back and to my face, Dave. Yeah, you're a real great guy.
I love it.
Hey.
The brotherly love. The brotherly love. We love it. So, Austin, not only do we love you, the dogs love you too. So,
Woof, woof.
thank you, everyone, for spending a few minutes with us for this on-the-go post show. You can check out Maureen, Holly, and Dave during the Today Show. The rest of us will see you tomorrow morning on Go, starting at 4:30 a.m. Have a great